Hello, fellow Redbirds. Welcome to Bird Fans Forever podcast number 37. Please follow us on our @BirdFansForever Twitter account to be notified of our latest podcast videos and to participate in our fun polls. Also, go visit our website, www.birdfansforever.com, where you can find a list of our previous podcasts. If you haven't already done so, go visit Bird Fans Forever on YouTube and dunk on that subscribe button. YouTube has our archive of classic Redbird games that we've accumulated thanks to so many Redbird fans who've been kind enough to share their video libraries with us. We hope to keep adding to our collection of games, and if you are a fan, chances are you will find a game on there that you will want to lose a couple of hours watching. The good game to catch is the March 19th, 2008 NIT game versus Utah State. A great Redbird win with today's guest. Our guest today played 2 years for our Illinois State Redbirds from 2006 to 2008, coming from Coffeyville Junior College, where he was a teammate of Anthony Slack. He earned first team NJCAA All-America honors in 2006 and was a member of the 2007 MVC All-Newcomer team. We'll be right back with Boo Richardson.
Hello, Bird fans. This is Bird Fans Forever. This is episode number 37 with Boo Richardson, number 5 from ISU. Go, my man, Boo. How you doing, Boo?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Boo played on an NIT team. He is 7th all-time leaders with steals. He is 4th all-time steals in a game with 4. I could list more of them, but we really want to talk to Boo and not hear John read off records. So we're going to get into Boo. Boo, thank you for being on. We know you played with Big Slack and Osiris, and you played 1 year under Muller, and then you played 1 year under Jank. So we always ask, how'd you get to ISU?
I know Slack Attack, and I already spoke a little bit, but I was a JUCO All-American at Coffeyville Community College, and I was getting recruited heavily by a lot of Division I's. And I took my visits. I had a couple of visits. I went down to Tulsa University, and I also went to New Mexico. And it just came down to the coaching, as far as Coach Moser and Coach Jans, which was a top assistant guy. Yeah. So it was up between them. And I also had Texas Tech with Bobby Knight.
Wow.
So Bobby Knight had came to my our last home games, and I just remember being at the free throw line and making my free throw. I made my first one, and then Bobby Knight just stopped the whole crowd basically and was like, "Boo, the scholarship yours." I'm like, yeah. This is during mid-game, too. So the crowd gave me a standing ovation. And maybe like a day or two after that, I kind of verbal committed a little bit through my coaching, through the assistant coaches down there. But I seen a TV show on ESPN with Bobby Knight. And he was throwing the basketball and cussing his point guard out. So I told Coach Hurt at Coffeyville, I was like, I'm not going there. And I had a great visit at Illinois State. I had a great visit. Jans and them came on campus, on the Coffeyville campus, with like the cardboard boxes. Was like, I work for Boo, I work for Slack. And they was walking around the whole campus, when it was time to sign. And when I went on my visit to Bloomington Normal, I got a chance to meet Greg Dilligard, Levi, Brandon Hopes, the whole team that was there. And I think Dom Johnson, he was a player. He was my teammate as well, junior college player. He came up that weekend to see if I was on sign because he wanted to see how tall I was, who I was. He was kind of like the same position. So, man, I went on a visit. Me and Slack went on our visit to ISU together, which was pretty cool. And we had a great time. The community was great. Got on the plane, went to the pub, too. That was like the selling point there. Got a chance to enjoy all that there. And just had a great time. Ended up going back to the guys' apartments. They had hot tubs in the front room. Craig Gilligard had hot tubs. So I'm like, yo, I'm coming here. Like, this is the best of the best. So I ended up flying back. I ended up committing at an arena football game. I think at the time Illinois State had Bloomington Normal had a arena football.
Yep.
I ended up going to the game, and I just had a great time. I love the community. The coaches did a great job recruiting me all year. That was my big thing for transferring out of junior college was like make sure I get recruited, not by the fourth or fifth coach. I wanted the head coach to come out and show me I was important to his program. So Moser came out a lot, Jens came out a lot, and the football guys at Coffeyville Community College, you know, they was all guys that was about to go to big-time universities as well, and they was like, y'all stupid if y'all don't go to Illinois State. These guys got the cardboard boxes signs. They saying they'll work for Boo, they'll do this, they'll do that. So it was a selling point with the two coaches. They did a great job, and also the community and the pub too, all the people that was there, and just the atmosphere. You know, I got a chance to do my research on Illinois State, Redbird basketball, so I fell in love with it, and my mentality was I wanted to go to a program instead of Texas Tech where they had rich history and NBA guys already, you know, on the roster. I wanted to go somewhere and put that school on the map, which I feel like we revamped ISU again. So that was my number one goal going to ISU. Like I said, just want to put that school back on the map, and just the great people. I'm telling you, the great people at Bloomington Normal. And Moser and Jens, they sold it. So that's how I ended up getting there.
So I got to say this. First of all, great instincts on Bobby Knight. 100%.
100%. So right after, when they found out that I committed to Illinois State, I get a phone call. And this is right before our practice. Oh, yeah. And I'm walking to the locker room at Coffeyville, and my coach, Coach Hurt, hey, Boo. He's in his office. He's like, Bobby Knight. I'm like, tell him I'm not going. So he's like, no, you got to come over here and say it yourself. Be a man. Come talk to him. So I'm like, Coach, no. So I get on the phone with Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight is like, I don't know if I can cuss on here. Can I?
We'll beep it out. You can
all right. Well, the first thing Bobby Knight said, are you fucking serious? Illinois, over Texas Tech, the Big 12, the fucking Missouri Valley. I'm like, Coach, he cussing.
You're like, Coach, I made the right decision. That's what you said.
It was super cool. It was like a great moment. Like I said, I had a lot of head coaches come out. I got recruited heavily, but just to have Bobby Knight. I think they lost to Oklahoma State by like 20 or 30, and he got on a private plane to come see me. He told me he never came to watch a junior college player play. So I was the first one, you know, because I wanted the head coach to come out and be part of my recruiting process because, you know, at a university, they got 4 or 5 coaches. Everybody could be somewhere else, but if I didn't get that head coach experience, like I feel like they didn't want me. You know, they kept sending the assistant guys out, so to see Bobby Knight come out, man, the Coffeyville community, like it was like a big thing. Like everybody was coming in town. They knew he was coming. And, man, he screamed out loud. He was like, Boo, you got the scholarship. And I'm like, the whole gym just give us a big stand ovation. And I watched ESPN, you know, like 2 nights after that. I'm like, I don't know if I can handle this because at that time, you know, I had a great coach with Coach Herkiman. And, you know, he was a hard coach, but he wasn't a big screamer or you know, Bobby Knight. You see it, you know, the legendary throwing the chair, you know, great guy, great, you know, great everything. What I didn't heard, you know, I never played for him, but at that time I was just so scared to make that jump. And he told me straight up too. He's like, you probably gonna play about 22 minutes a game, not the 40 minutes you've been playing. And he's like, because they had an NBA player right there, Jared Jacks or something like that. It was a really good guard, All-American. He's like, you could play the one or the combo guard, or you could come off the bench. It's on you. You know, he let me know I was going to have to earn it, which I was okay with that because I earned it everywhere I went. But I was just kind of, you know, scared of his personality, seeing the episode. So I was like, I think I'm going to go to the other side of town.
So it's true. You committed first, right? And
I committed on that visit. Yep, I committed. You know, we both had a visit together, me and Slack. We was teammates in Coffeyville, and that's like my brother. You know, so we was picking schools together. You know, we had a lot of package deals like Cincinnati, Oklahoma. We had a lot of schools that was like interested in doing package deals with us. And Slack, you know, I think they had a big at the time. I don't remember who was there. It was a couple guys.
Dilly and Ronnie.
Yep. I knew them too, but it was like somebody else. Some other guys was there before we got there as well. I think they not a guard. It was a guard that didn't come back because I was coming in. I forgot who that guy was, but
I'm
telling Slack, I was like, man, come. I'm like, come with me, see how it is, because he had Oklahoma, Missouri State, he had a lot of different schools after him too. And, we was connected for 2 years, we had a good bond. And, sometimes you do want to get your own identity, and when we want to visit together, I end up committing first because I just had a great time. You know how the visits are. You having a great time, you living in the moment, and I'm like, I see myself making an impact here. So I committed. I think Slack was more hesitant because it had 3 bigs. You had Levi at 6'11". You had Ronnie was about 6'10". You had Greg DeLagar about 6'8", 6'9". So I don't think Slack really had the mindset at the time. But I end up, kind of getting in his ear like, you way better than them dudes. I'm like, we going to work hard. We going to do what we do. We going to do what we do. We going to compete. We going to go bust they butts, and you going to be the starter. Right. And he like, all right. And also, like I said, the football guys on the Coffeyville campus, they helped sell the deal too because Slack ended up committing to Missouri State. I want to say the next couple of days he went on a visit there, and I think he's just seeing a better fit for him because there wasn't a lot of traditional bigs. And Slack at that time was just getting as big. He's not as big as he was now, but
now he's a house.
Yeah, not as a house, nah. Yeah. So he was. I think he just had that mindset. Yeah, he's definitely that.
He got super guns.
Yeah, he had that mindset. I think he was just kind of, smaller forward, but he was a workhorse. And me and a couple other guys on campus, just like this is what we do. We work hard, we take guys' spot, we compete at a high level, and that's what we want. We want a challenge. We don't want to go nowhere where we're just going to basically get a starting spot or just get anything handed to us. So I committed, then he committed. But like I said, I thank the Coffeyville football team for that one because they actually convinced him you're gonna be going with Boo. Y'all already know each other's game. He gonna pass you the ball. Blah blah blah. On and off the floor, you guys already connected. So it just like I said, it came together, and it was truly one. I think the best decision I made, and I'm glad he made it too because it helped our brotherhood. Our friendship. Like I said, we best friends, and we got a chance to be part of history, man, together for basically 4 years. I say 3 because we kind of had an up and down junior year, but for 4 years, man, we looked out at for each other on and off the floor.
Well, and Boo, that's what, I tell the young kids, that is the gift that you have and I've been also given, right? I can pick up the phone and within an hour get a phone call back from 5 or 6 dudes I played with. Mm-hmm. You're the same way, right? I see you guys have been nice enough to pull me into your little group chat, and the chatter that goes on between you guys is nothing but love.
It's all love.
Yeah,
all love.
All love. But I mean, it's from the heart, right? That's the brotherhood or the bond. That is the gift you are given when you play 3 or 4 years together with somebody, right? And it's these kids that are transferring every 2 years. They're going to miss out on that. And so,
big time. I was just talking to a buddy about that. You don't get the whole experience, and right. But it's times. I had to face it too. Times is different. It's kind of how the game has changed. It went from big to small. Now it's positional basketball. So just everything's changing. So right. to see college go into a business type of thing, they definitely missing on a lot of stuff because not even just with sports. You guys probably you just have brotherhoods. You just have friendships that you get from college that last forever. And it's great because you stay at that university for 2 years, 3 or 4 years, and you just build a bond. I know coming from junior college, it was a struggle. You had to grind and get out the mud from junior college because you basically in a small town. You got your goals written down. You're trying to get to a university. Right. So you out in the middle of nowhere most of the time. A lot of the good junior colleges in Kansas and Missouri, which is, basically fields. You're far away from everywhere.
Absolutely.
So you got your head down trying to get somewhere in the next year or two because of your grades, your ACT scores. So it's a grind, but, I love them was the two great years of my life at Coffeyville, and then you add the other 2 at Illinois State. So I loved it, and that brotherhood is forever. Like I said,
forever.
We definitely talk a lot of crap, but at the end of the day, man, we love because of the camaraderie that we built over those 2 years at ISU. Even with the 2 different coaches, we all looked after each other. So love them guys to death.
All right, so your nickname is actually Boo. right? And we were reading an article. Then I saw a stat sheet that said Keith Richards.
Yep, Keith Richardson. Yep.
And I was like, help me.
So, yeah, I guess you want to know where the nickname came from, huh? I guess you guys want to know.
I've known
For
you.
sure.
I knew you when you were playing. I was coming back. I've been around you for the last 16 years. I never knew you. I thought your name was Boo, right?
Yeah.
So
It's a hidden. It's hidden. It don't match. It don't match. It don't have no matching with each other. I just didn't like the nickname. I mean, my real name Keith. I got it from my mom named me after her two brothers. So that's how I ended up my real name is Keith Lee Richardson. But just since a baby, probably when I was about 5 or 6 years old, you know, I kind of been the chosen one in the family, like the spoiled one. My grandma spoiled me. You know, a lot of my family members spoiled me when I was growing up. Basically, like keeping me out the way. You know, from my brothers, my uncles, my cousins. You know, so I was a grandma's boy and a mama's boy, and all my older cousins, uncles, and them, you know, they used to be like, turn off the lights and scare me and be like, boo, you know, and run. And I used to run to my grandma all the time, and she'd be like, don't mess with my baby. Y'all better not mess with my baby. And it was just boo, you know, because they were trying to pick on me and make me tougher.
yeah.
And I ended up getting that nickname, you know, Boo. And it stuck with me. Like, no teachers called me Keith. Nobody called me Keith at all. You know, I try to go in that first day and be like, they'd be like, what's your name? Keith Richardson. They'd be like, you want us to call you anything else? I'm like, yes, Boo. Like, so I wish I could put it on my driver's license without changing it like Metal World Peace. I'm not trying to like rob our test, but everybody calls me Boo Richardson. It's been I guess I made a name for myself worldwide. It's been a blessing. Everywhere I go, somebody know who I am. And I think it's a unique nickname, Boo Richardson. So I'm blessed, man, to be able to carry that name. Like I said, it's a childhood nickname that stuck with me forever, and I earned a lot of respect from a lot of my teachers and just people growing up. So they call me that a lot. You know, I definitely get a couple of those strong, big guys like, I ain't calling you Boo. I ain't calling you Boo. I'm like, don't call me nothing then. Don't say nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? So,
It's like this. If you were Keith, right? And we just said Keith, we wouldn't know what ISU basketball player was. But by we say Boo, everyone knows you.
Everybody knows Boo.
Everyone.
Everybody.
It's like Michael, right?
Yeah.
You say Michael, we know who that is. We say Boo, we know who that is.
So it's been a blessing. My dad played ball. He didn't get to go to college, but he was basically a local legend. Really, really good. They called him Diener. So he had a name. He had a name for himself as a good basketball player and a good person throughout the community. And you know, just growing up, you know, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Right. And I felt like I didn't ask for it, you know, but I got the same thing my dad got, because when I was growing up, every time I say my dad's name or say that was my dad, everybody had that ring to it. They was like, oh, I know your dad was this, your dad was that. I'm like, oh my God, I'm tired of it. I'm like, fast forward it, you know, it's the same thing with me. You know, I put in so much work, you know, on and off the floor. And my family, my grandma and my family just raised me to be a good, respectful person. Where, you know, it's when you say my name, you know, a lot of people, you know, is going to speak on me, good or bad, you know, but they know who I am. And I think that was a little man complex for me. You know, I wanted that. You know, everywhere I went, I wanted somebody to know who I was when I walked in the gym or when I walked in the door. So, Boo Richardson is unique. I didn't want to name my son a junior or nothing like that, just because I want my son to be able to have his own identity without having the pressure of myself or his mom or grandparents. So his name is Santana Richardson. So I'm like, you get a whole new flick, like no nickname. You don't got to be junior or nothing like that. So I love it. I love my nickname, though. It's actually my real name.
There you go.
It's my real name.
So, Boo, you mentioned you went to Coffeyville for 2 years and JUCO. So talk about how that prepared you and that transition to ISU, because you did really well in that transition. You came over there, you started all 66 games, every single game you started, and you were named on the Missouri Valley
newcomer of the year.
Yeah. So
newcomer team.
Yeah, tell us about the transition and how it helped you.
The The transition, I definitely had like 3 transitions. Coming from high school, I went to Wyandotte High School, which is a big-time basketball. I think we have like the most state titles. We got like 20, Wyandotte High School. So I went there for 4 years and was a starter in high school. I had 3 coaches. Steve Lilly, he ended up coaching at Independence Community College. And then I had the head coach that my sophomore year, I had the head coach that won the last state title in 1998, Wayne Van Dyne. So he had 2 guys under his belt. Victor Williams was his point guard, and Nate Johnson. So Victor Williams, Illinois State for a year before he went to Oklahoma State. Yeah. And then this 2 guard was Nate Johnson. He went to Nebraska University. So I got a chance to play with a coach that coached them 2 guys for 4 years and won the state title. And then my junior year, I had a guy named Wendell Moore. He's at the University of Loyola as assistant. He was at Tulsa. He was at UMKC under Danny Manning. He's at Tulsa with Danny Manning. So I got a chance to have a college coach, college basketball player coach me my junior and senior year. Right. So I got prepared pretty good going in, like headed to Coffeyville. But when I got to Coffeyville, I hit a wall. Just the speed, them guys at that level, it was the Jayhawk East and West at the time. So, like, all the top guys in the country was coming to play in the Jayhawk Conference. And Coffeyville is one of the top JUCOs in the country. So I got recruited from a guy named B.J. Hill. He was the head coach at Northern Colorado for a couple years there. But he recruited me with Coach Herkerman. And I had to spend 2 years at Coffeyville because I didn't get my grades out of high school. So I was a starter. I beat them guys out. I beat the point guards out when I got to Coffeyville Community College. And them guys were just so much bigger and stronger, and the game was just so much faster from high school. I ended up going like the first 8 games. I was like 0 for 22 from 3. But I was still starting. I averaged like 7 points a game, like 6 assists, 3 steals. So I was still doing good, and I never forget. My coach called a timeout because I shot a wide open 3, and Coach Hurt called a timeout and cussed me out. He's like, "Wide up, you shooting the ball?" I'm like, "I'm wide open," and he's like, "You wide open for a reason." And he's like, you shoot 20% from 3, blah blah blah. So I'm like, whoa. You guys know you just play hard. You're not even thinking about your percentage. You're not thinking about nothing else. I'm playing so hard. That's why I'm out on the floor. I'm starting. We winning games. I'm doing well. Like I said, I still was averaging pretty good numbers as a freshman. And my coach ended up getting ejected one game. He got ejected. And the next game, I ended up hitting a 3-pointer. And the crowd just gave me a standing ovation. It was like my first 3 of the year. And I'm like, I got so mad because I'm like, I'm an athlete. I'm a competitor. So I was just like, all right. So I just remember that night just standing in the gym, making like 500 shots that night. And that was like my turning curve in junior college. But Coach B.J. Hill, Coach Shadrick, he played at Florida State. He was Reggie Evans' teammate at Coffeyville. So I had a lot of great guys that was in front of me that laced me with a lot of game, that showed me the ropes from that Coffeyville program. So just seeing all them All-American and all them D1 guys on the wall, on the Wall of Fame, the All-American wall and stuff like that, I wrote my goals. And I wanted to go Division I. That was always my goals. And Coach Herkerman, man, that's my guy. That's definitely the best coach I ever, I got 2 good solid years with him. And he really let me be who I was, and he helped me. He shaped me for the man I am today as a basketball player and a man. But the junior college route, like, it's nothing there to do. The community of Coffeyville that's like my second home. I love them people. They looked out for me and just made sure, like, I was the next one to go on that wall. And Coach Hurt, like, he always just kept it just honest with me, kept it real with me. And, I just never forget. He told me, he's like, you open for a reason. You shooting 20-something%, blah, 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 just going off on me. And he was just telling me about all the, past guys in the past, the Division I guys. And I just told him one day, I'm like, I'm going to be better than all them dudes. I'm going to be better than everybody. And I just lived in the gym. I lived in the gym. I did my push-ups, I ate my peanut butter. So I did all that stuff, I had a little cheat code too, like every night, I was kind of small coming in. I was like 150 or something like that, 155, So what I used to do is, I don't encourage this for no kids, but this is what they did for me in the old days, Basically got, I drunk a Budweiser every night to get that that belly weight, So that was my thing. I would drink a Budweiser beer every night. I hated beer, but I just wanted to gain the weight, so I did it until I gained the weight. I did 100 crunches, 100 push-ups a night, ate my peanut butter, and I just got really big after towards my end of my freshman year, and I just worked out every day. I worked out every day in the off season. Coach Herkerman, he always work out. He still do it to today. He'd get up about 5 or 6 in the morning and do his little, his laps and jog in the gym. I told myself, I'm going to beat him. I'm going to start beating him in the gym. So what I used to do is I used to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30, and I'd beat him to the gym. I'd get there about 5:30, start stretching. I get the chairs out, the cones and stuff out, and I work out from basically 6 to 7:30 because I had summer school, so I had to go to my class, go to my 2-3 classes for summer school, and then I get some lunch. Then I come right back for another session, and this is no trainer. This is just me. I was putting up shots and rebounding myself. And I worked out every day, and I think my Coach Hurt, seeing how hard I was working and seeing everything I was doing. So when everybody got back on campus, I was like I was separated from everybody. I was so much better, wasn't missing shots. I was at a higher level. I was stronger, and he gave me the keys. I earned the keys my freshman year, just because of my work effort. But we had another leader there named Ryan Martin. He ended up going to Wichita State. He was a Coffeyville guy as well, KCK guy. So that's like a big brother to me. But that guy right there, him and Reggie Evans and Shadrick Jenkins, them guys, man, they just showed me hard work at Coffeyville, and I just took it and ran with it. And Coach Hurt, man, he let me be me. He definitely gave me some nuggets and, taught me some stuff about running the offense, how to play defense, how to run a team, and just coaching. I always had that high IQ, but, just hearing it from that guy that's been there for years, that won multiple times, championships, and just sending all them guys to them high D1s, like I said, I had to be next. And that was my main thing going to junior college, because I got recruited by, Hutch. I got recruited by everybody, out of town, Paris, Texas. I can't think of the other Texas big school names down there as far as junior college. And I just got the rich history about JUCO. I didn't know it was so many D1 guys and NBA guys that came out of JUCO in the 80s and the early 90s. I'm like, whoa. I started reading all these guys' names, Ruben Patterson, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I'm going to junior college. Because, you think that you're going straight D1, out of high school. I didn't have a grade. I didn't know nothing about junior college until my senior year. And then I just started getting all this information and reading about it and doing my research. And I'm like, I think I'm going to go to a junior college, because I didn't want to take my ACT no more. I took the practice. I got a 19 on the practice. And then I took the real one. I got a 12. I'm like, man, I'm never taking this again. This stuff I'm seeing right now, I never seen it in high school, So it was just I didn't want to take it no more just for my sake. I was embarrassed of myself because I wasn't educated for it. So I told myself I was going to go to junior college for that 2 years and develop, and I was going to go somewhere in my junior year and start and go. But just to answer you guys' question, man, Coach Herkerman and that Coffeyville Community College, that program, it shapes you as a basketball player, a football player, and a baseball player for your next university. Once you go off your university, it makes you to a boy to a man, a student athlete, real quick. First day on campus, we had 30 guys on campus, and I seen about 5 little guys, and I'm like, what you do, soccer? What you here for? They I'm here for basketball. I'm like, they told me I was going to be this, I was going to be blah, blah, blah. So that's how me and Slack and my other guys, Tarai, Sanders, I got cool with all the big guys because I didn't want to be friends with the little point guards because I was on bust their tails. So I made sure I wasn't friends with none. And I became friends.
Yeah.
When we first got to campus, I'm like, I'm not hanging with y'all. I'm not talking to y'all because
you got to battle for your position.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's how me and Slack and all the big guys became best friends, because I just had to take it personal because it's 30 guys in there. Only 12 can get on the roster. Right. I'm like, and junior college, guys get there one night, the next night they gone, you know. So they leaving by the day because they can't handle, you know, waking up at 5 in the morning, going to class, doing all the things on their own, you know, getting caught up in trouble off the floor. Right. So I was disciplined enough to have a great 2 years there. I was All-American. I ended up making like first team, I think, my freshman year, all conference. So I had a lot of accolades at Coffeyville, and I ended up becoming the best point guard in the country in the junior college my sophomore year, just because I put in all the hard work my off season. And Hurt set back. You know, all my coaches basically let me run the show just because I put in that hard work, you know. So Hurt
talking about your transition into Porter now, right? So now your first year, you go from Hurt, now you're going to Porter.
Hurt is just a laid-back guy, you know, laid-back, chill guy. Really don't get super high, don't get too low. He's more like an even keel guy, you know. And then transferring over to Illinois State, you know, again, it's a different level as far as junior college to high D1. You know, you could say what you want about mid-major, high major. Illinois State at the time was it's high major to me. So we got a chance to play against big teams, but the speed, and the guys are so big, you know. So transferring over, you know how the off season is. It's pickup. You playing pickup with the boys, no rules, no coaches. So right. I'm feeling myself. The girls in there watching, the girls team, you know, everybody watching you play. So I'm like, oh, this is easy. This is easy. The coaches don't really say nothing to you. They don't say nothing to you during the off season. The first official day, oh my God, like I didn't know who Porter Moser was. I did not know that guy. I did not know who Coach Jans was. Like, they went into a whole different coaching mode where
Bobby Knight came out of them, right?
Oh, definitely. It was a form of Bobby Knight. It was a form of Bobby Knight, but you know, they was trying to, you know, like we talked about it. You know, them guys got, you know, let go after our junior year, just because of the previous years, you know, building up. We actually had probably the best recruiting class at that time in the Valley. We had the #1 recruiting class. Myself, we had 2 All-American junior college guys, 2 top 100 guys from high school, Osiris and Bobby Hill. So we had 5 good guys coming in, probably the better class in the Missouri Valley. But, you know, all of us are new guys, you know, 5 new guys coming in, and we never seen that before. So we kind of struggled. I think it was 15 and 16. My junior year. So Porter was a good
15 and 16.
How can I say it? I just have to wash my hands with this maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And what I mean by that is I think my junior year was the worst year of my career. I think Moser's doing a hell of a job now. Like Loyola Chicago, he's at OU now, Oklahoma. He's doing a great job. Jans is at I forgot where he's at. Somewhere with Nevada or something, or what is it? Where's Jans at?
He just went from New Mexico State to the Southeast. He's somewhere in the SEC.
So them guys are probably totally different. You know, I know Herc is a different coach because I coach under
Mississippi State.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, them guys are probably totally different guys now. But at the time, I think they was on a hot seat. You know, if we didn't have a big time winning season, you know, them guys were gonna have to get out of there because of the business. You know, so we was end up being 15 and 16, a little better than the year before they had. But over the previous 2 to 3 years, they just kind of had an up and down, you know, couple years. So, you know, like I said, I just wasn't used to the long 3-hour, 4-hour practices. You know, the style I like to play is just going up and down. You know, myself calling the plays, calling the shots, running the show as a point guard, as a leader. And, you know, Moser was more of the half-court guy. You know, he had to play on his, you know, his suit jacket. You know, he was calling the plays a lot, you know, so – it was different, you know, like I said, not being in control, not being able to run the team, not being able to have my voice be the, you know, I respect all my coaches, don't get me wrong, but, you know, I earned the right to be a coach on the floor, be a coach in the locker room. You know, win or lose, I earned that because I worked so hard as a player in the weight room, in conditioning, in practices. I just felt like it was kind of taken away from me, and I don't think it was on purpose. With them guys, it was more that the pressure of them trying to win the conference, have a good season. I think it got the best of them because they had a really good program, a really good team, and I think if they would have had us for one more year, we probably would have been better. It was, like I said, like I said, I love all them guys because I got an opportunity. I got a chance. Them guys didn't have to give me a chance to come to ISU. They didn't have to recruit me and do the things that they did. So I'm forever grateful for Jens and Coach Mosley. But the style, it was just a different style. It wasn't a style I could play. Being 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", whatever the roster lists me.
What is the truth?
I'm gonna say the truth. Now I'm gonna say I give it to y'all now 5'7.5". I don't think I never been 5'9". I think I had a couple of rosters where I was 5'9". So, they give you an extra 2 inches when you're in college just to make the other team feel bad.
So then talk about now Porter is fired and now they're bringing in Coach Jankovic and talk about that transition.
Man, the press conference. I almost transferred. I know we was on the back of the bus after we lost in the Missouri Valley tournament. My junior year, me and Slack junior year, and Dom, all three of us in the back of the bus coming back from St. Louis. We like, hey, I don't know. I'm coming back. I think I'm gonna go somewhere else. Blah blah blah. Slack was like, man, I don't know yet. Dom was like, man, me too. So we was all kind of thinking that, we about to transfer for our last year, just for we could go somewhere and kind of play our style. And we get, about a couple of days after the conference, we get that message that, they've been released. We getting a new coach. The next day it's end up being Coach Jank from KU. He was the assistant coach at KU under Bill Self. So I'm like, oh yeah, like that's Kansas connection. Like he gotta know, he gotta know who I am. Like. So I'm like, cool, yeah. I just seen them guys, Mario Chalmers, all them guys. KU is like, if Illinois State is definitely my first love, but KU is my favorite college program because my grandma she loved basketball and KU was her. We watched KU every night. Yeah. So I just was excited, So we went to the press conference, got out of class, went to the press conference, and he spoke about how he wanted to do things and what his expectations. We was all kind of hitting each other in the stands like, oh, yeah, we're going to be all right. So we get back to the back after his press conferences. We get back. He started talking to us. We like, oh, what's up? I'm like, I know you had some Gates before. He's like, oh, yeah, I like Gates. I'm Gates barbecue. Yeah, Kansas this. So we talking, we mingling. And he let everybody else walk out the room. And he like, boo, come here. I'm like, what's up, coach? Happy. He like, you are terrible. I'm like, what the I'm like, who, me? He like, you are terrible. He looked at me in my eyes. He said, you cannot guard. You a turnover machine. You too little. You don't guard 94 feet. So immediately, I'm like you said, I got to bite my tongue because I'm like, what the like, I can't transfer now. Like I'm here. Like I'm locked in. So I'm like this can't be the guy I just heard on the microphone.
Right.
So he basically told me like, you trash. Like, and I'm like heart beating. I'm finna cry. So he ended up telling me all that and just walks away. And I goes in the locker room and just start throwing my shoes in the locker like, oh, I'm out here. I'm calling my brothers now. I'm calling my cousins. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. My family, they like, nah, you're going to suck it up. You're going to blah, blah, blah. You're going to find a way to get his respect. So I'm like, all right. So maybe like I had a girlfriend at the time. I was in bed like maybe the next night or so. He calls me back. He calls me like at 11 o'clock at night. Like, hey, man, you up? You sleep? I'm like, I'm up, coach. What's up? He like, you the best player on this team. I'm like, what? He's like, I see why the community, I see why everybody's saying this, saying that. I just watched the film with Drake. You had about 20-something points. You did this, you did that. Man, you awesome. You this, you that. I'm like, I'm looking at my girlfriend like, put him on speakerphone. So I'm like, I didn't want to be tripping, so I put him on speakerphone. So I'm like, all right, coach, what's up, man? You just told me that I was so bad. He's like, I'm going to break it down to you, boo. If you don't play 94 feet defense, you won't play for me. You're too small to be picking up people from half court and not giving them hell. He said, if you don't play 94 feet, you can't play. We don't win. He said, if you don't keep your man in front, we don't win. You got to stay solid. You can't be gambling on defense. You can't be throwing these no-look pass to guys that can't handle the ball. You got to lead. You got to do this. You got to do that.
Who your target is.
Yeah, he gave me a list of things.
Yep.
I'm like, and me being me, I'm like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Like, I'm about to check off all these things you just said that I'm good and bad at, and I'm going to be great at it. And, that's what I told him. I'm like, with tears of joy in my eye this time, not as so I tears of joy now. I'm like crying, like, all right, watch, like we about to win, like because I used to have a list. I used to have a list of all the teams that beat me, all the people that ever made me mad or gave up on me or said I wasn't good. Like I had a big old list. I just got rid of it about like 7 years when I got done playing ball. That was like kind of my driving factor.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He was on my list right after that locker room. Like Coach Jank was on my list. Like I'm gonna prove him wrong. So he called me and gave me all the things I need to do and what we need to do as a team. And I told myself, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. I'm gonna be a better person, a better player on and off the floor. And I remember talking to my teammates about it. And I remember talking to O because I felt like myself only had one more year. And I felt like O had, he had the longer career than me. And I basically told him, right? Osiris Eldridge. I'm like, you the best two guard. You the best player in the country. I wanted to give him that torch because I seen this kid, like, he wanted it. Basketball,
right.
He wanted that tattoo of a red bird. And I was like, you gonna be the offensive guy. I'm gonna be the defensive guy, and we gonna make you who you are. And not I don't mean make him like that because he's already skill wise, but all the other guys we took everything off the plate. And Osiris was a guy who was offensive minded, but he ended up buying into the defense because of myself, Dom, Slack, all the senior guys. Man, we changed the culture. But it started with me because of that phone call. Because like I said, I was down and out. I'm like, ain't no way this guy just called me sorry. But I started watching so much tape. I'm like, I was awful. Turning the ball over. And again, not trying to I'm a point guard, so I'm always going to take the blame. Mm-hmm. But, it was hard playing for Moser and Jens because, it was just hard. I think a lot of other guys said it already on this show. It was just a different – my whole career, my coaches didn't let me be the guy. Right. Said not just scoring, it's just like I said, running the show, being a leader, calling the plays. They in man, I'm gonna call motion. If they're in the zone, I'm gonna call this play. I already know them reads, so I don't need my coach stopping us in transition or telling me what to call. I already watched tape for 3-4 hours last night, so I'm ahead of the game. So I just got back into that mentality because that's what Coach Hurt basically made me do. Didn't make me do, but he gave me a chance to, run the show, run the team. So. Jank, man, he let me do that, and I was back to myself. I had a lot of personal issues going on my junior year, but I never let that. I had my brother get shot, my niece pass away, my cousin it was probably like at least eight to 10 family and friend members that got killed all in like 1 year, and they was all close to me. But I didn't never try to bring that to the light. And, I think Porter kind of made an article at the end of my junior year saying, all this stuff about me as far as my brother and all them. And I didn't know that article came out. And I was like, no, that wasn't the reason I played bad. The reason I played bad because I didn't have the green light from my coaches, my coaching staff. I think all of us got held back to a certain degree. But Jank, like I said, I don't think Jank coached us. Jank didn't have to coach us, because – like I said, that first day, I had to prove him wrong. I went from making my sprints from like 10 seconds to 8 seconds. I'm making them down and back now in like 7 seconds, 8 seconds. And we was making everybody, get better. We had a thing called boot camp. Oh my God, a 2-week boot camp, which I never experienced this in my life. We had 2 weeks of 6 a.m. workouts, no basketball. It was just all defense and conditioning. I think Slack talked about it a little bit.
He did.
But they was all talking like, all right, we're going to go into boot camp next week. Officially we're going to do this, do that. We like, man, what if they have us in army fatigue stuff going outside, this and that. We was joking about it the night before. And we wake up and go in the locker room. We all got goosebumps because we had army fatigue shirts. And we like, oh, we really about to go to work, y'all. Like, this is next level stuff. So I never forget that boot camp. When we first, it helped shape us as a team because we came together. Yeah. And that was like the foundation. That boot camp was everything because it really changed us and got us closer because, we all wanted to play. We all wanted to prove this new coach we could play. And we never let each other down as far as from the car rides, waking each other up, getting the boot camp on time because if one of us late, it's just more conditioning. You guys know how that go. One of us late, it's just more and more for.
Oh,
So
there's not one person late. There's
Yeah.
15 guys late.
yeah,
Or
it's
12 or whatever.
It's a
yeah.
wrap. So we end up getting the first day of boot camp, and it was 20 minutes on the clock, and it was jump ropes. They had jump ropes on the sideline, and they had a manager and a coach like in front of all of us, and we had to jump rope for 20 minutes straight, non-stop. And the coaches and the managers had the pad. Every time we made a mistake, they would mark it down. So after the first 20 minutes, we probably had about 80 to 100 down and backs sprints, because we was jumping rope for 20 minutes, and we was messing up. Even myself, I messed up a couple times. Other guys messed up. It came up to like 80 to 100. We had to do like 80 to 100 down and backs before we got into the boot camp. That was our workout. We had about 6 stations, rim touches, lane slides, down. It was everything you could imagine. I think Coach Rourke was kind of over it too. So it's 6 in the morning, man. Like it shaped us though, and I think I see why the military and the Army guys kind of get that bond, because we got that, and that kicked off our season. Like I said, Jank and them, all they had to do was sit back. We probably had about 3 offensive plays. We didn't run a lot of offense because our defense was turning our defense into offense. But it was Jank is just like Hurt. He definitely he's tied up there. He's second. That's my second best coach ever. Just because he shot it to me straight, and he let me be me. He let me be me. And my teammates followed. My teammates followed me because I take pride in being a leader. I've been a captain and a leader my whole career, all the way going back from my little league team. So I just appreciate Herc and Jankovic because, man, them dudes really, like, shaped me on and off the floor. And I was going through so much stuff off the floor that a lot of people don't know about. But, Slack does, and, Coach Herc knows, and then Jankovic knows. So just for them dudes to be able to let me be me and let me create my identity and let the world know who I am, I'm forever grateful for them guys.
All right, Boo, we were talking, right? And you and I were both talking about MSG, Madison Square Garden, and of course, St. John's will be forever sorry they didn't let you play there. So let's hear this story.
Oh, man, we just, we had St. John's on our schedule my junior year, and we thought we was playing, you think you're playing at the Madison Square Garden because that's where they played the UConns, they played the Syracuse. They played the big-time games there when they played. So Illinois State being a mid-major, and them being a powerhouse, a high major, Division I, we got robbed. They didn't let us play in the big arena because they didn't think it'd fill up or think we was worth it. They thought they was just gonna blow us out. So I remember being in a hotel room with Slack and just like, yo, like this is disrespectful. Like, we was at shoot around. We had shoot around at their little college, at their regular gym, their school gym, and find out we're not about to play in the big arena. And that's the build up the whole time. You see all these things on ESPN. All these big games, these big moments, the big player moments at the Madison Square Garden. So I'm like, this is my moment. This is my moment. This is our moment to be that team. So we didn't get a chance to play. So I just remember telling myself, I'm finna get these dudes the business. And we gonna win. They had a big time. They had a good team. They had a good program. I think they had like 2 or 3 potential NBA players. Anthony Mason's son played for them, was a big-time player. They had a couple guys that could really play. Really good team. We definitely was the underdogs going in there. I think I had about 25, 27, something like that. I had like a 20-point game in that area. But I just took it personal because, again, little mid-major schools always want to knock off the big major schools because they think we can't hang with them. So even if we wasn't playing in Madison Square Garden, like, St. John's was targeted on my map because I played Florida State our first couple of games that junior year, and Tony Douglas just gave me hell all night. Him and Al Thornton, them dudes had like 5 NBA guys. I think Dom Johnson had about 30, 35 against them. Could nobody else do nothing, and I just told myself, never again I'm gonna have this moment against a big time school because I know the potential I have. I know I could play at the highest level, and I know I could compete against these guys. So that was the first time my get back was to play against a big-time school, St. John's. And I just, like I said, we won that game. It was a back-and-forth game for the whole game most of the time.
And I just by 13.
Yeah, we separated because I had it that night, and you guys know when you feel good, you have
it's your night.
Know, and I already had called my family. I'm gonna be on TV, so everybody at home was hyping me up. I had my family all watching. They was giving me good words, the night before. So I just knew Grandma was watching. I knew the family was watching, and again, this was my time to put on, not for myself, but put on for ISU basketball. And we had a good group my junior year as well, and we was kind of up and down that year. And that was a big time win for us to be able to knock them off. But I didn't play in the big garden, and I was mad. I definitely was mad because I think that's everybody's highlight, to play at the Rucker in New York, to play at the Madison Square Garden. This is the history. You get those history, the moment you hear about it. So they know who I am, but I just didn't play in that arena. I definitely got a chance to leave my mark in New York. We had a great time. We had a great time as a unit, as a team, but we definitely didn't. We wanted to play. Our whole team wanted to play there, and I took it personal.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Utah State, which, by the way, is on Bird Fans Forever. So I promised Boo when he was coming on that we'd get more and more of his games up, and so to be able to get him Utah State and Dayton, they'll talk about Dayton second, but let's talk Utah State. You guys beat them down at home, so love it, love it, love it.
It was the same. It's a big time name as well. They got rich history for their program. It had a big time player. I can't remember his name. Curl, yeah. Shooting like 20 points a game. Probably was on the All-American watch list. I think Dom had him for the most of the night, running off all them dang on screens. And I had the point guard, but it was always every night team effort. Getting stops, not just one guy. Not even myself could guard one guy. So it was we wanted it. Like I said, we already got robbed for the big dance. Playing the big March Madness because we had a good RPI. We had good. Our numbers was great everywhere, and we knocked off some good teams. Good top 100 teams. We did everything we were supposed to do, but growing up now, everything's a business, marketing, and all that other stuff. Yeah. And, it was teams like Arizona and Baylor, I think, at the year was like 12-12. And we was like 23-24 and something. I'm like...
Yeah. You guys were 24-9 in the regular season.
Yeah,
You won that Utah State game. So you actually set a record at the time for most wins by an ISU team in the regular season. So 24-9, a low 30s RPI, and they passed you up.
Yeah, but, me and John kind of talked about it the other day before we got on here. Steph Curry. Who do you want to watch? You want to watch Steph Curry?
I want to watch Boo Richardson.
I want to watch Boo Richardson.
I want to watch Boo.
For sure.
Osiris, Slack, Boo Richardson.
Hey, I know for a fact Bloomington Normal wanted to see us. What's going to give you more ratings? What's going to give you more? At that time, Stephen Curry, that's when he was coming into his identity, him and Davidson. Them guys was upsetting people, and he was putting up big numbers. So I feel like they weren't going to let both of the smaller schools get in, because we was both knocking off teams throughout the year and having good numbers. And, we was more of a defensive team more than anything. But, getting beat by Drake 3 times and then that championship game by 30, it was like that kind of blew our chances, for the big viewers. But, I think, like I said, the first 2 games was back and forth. Them guys, they started the 4 guys shooting threes before the NBA started it. They had 4 guys out there on that perimeter that could shoot the 3. And then they had a point guard just come off that ball screen just picking you apart like John Stockton. So they had a great team. And, I never forget, Jankovic was in the huddle like, hey, what should we run on defense? I'm like, shit, I don't know. Like, we can't go zone, we can't trap, we can't do this. So by the time that, that 3rd game came around, we was just like, man, they got our number. We didn't give up, but they was just, every shot they shot, they did it all year. The only time they lost is when they missed shots, But that Utah State game, like I said, that Utah game, it was just like, this is our moment. We can't cry about not getting in the tournament. We still, our coaches did a great job of keeping us upbeat, not letting us get down and still letting us know we had a moment to be a part of history, still play, still have life, So and it fell on me. I made sure I came in practice with a good attitude, weights with a good attitude. We still went to class. We did everything we were supposed to do following up to that. And I thought it carried over, that first game. And, I think the Dayton game, they made more shots. They made more plays towards the end, because I think just watching it on Birds Fans Forever last night, they went on a 17-0 run. And, we didn't score for like 3 minutes, and we took a lot of threes, just winded, not making no excuses, but they didn't do a lot of stuff to really hurt us. Some of they guys that wasn't key guys made shots, and a lot of our, like Osiris struggled. I struggled second half. I had a good first half. We just didn't make shots. The guys that usually make shots all year. This is our last couple games, our last game, win or lose. We just make shots, and hats off to Dayton, but they had like 2 NBA pro guys, just well-coached team. Like, they just made more baskets. We guarded until that stretch. We couldn't make shots. We guarded. 17-0 run. That's tough to come back. We ended up coming back, cutting it to like 6 or 7, but 4 minutes without scoring. Sheesh.
I'm going to rewind you back to the Utah State game, because there's a couple questions I want to ask. So they had made it to the postseason, I don't know if you know this, 8 consecutive years Utah State has, okay? And ISU had a dry spell, right? And you guys broke that, and you went to the NIT. You guys came out, you were making threes in the first half, and then they made a run, right?
Yep.
So there's a couple moments here. So there is a key moment where you
I
talk
gambled.
about your defense.
I gambled.
Well, that's a little bit later, but no, you forced back. They're within 2 points, okay, and they got the ball, right?
Yep.
2 consecutive possessions, you seal it and force turnover, okay, and then there's a breakaway, a dunk to Slack, and all of a sudden we're up by 6.
I think basketball. A lot of basketball people understand me or understands the type of player I am. As far as I could change the game by scoring, passing, or defense. In that year and even that game, we wasn't making shots, we wasn't making plays. The energy wasn't in the gym. The energy wasn't on the bench. The energy wasn't on with the guys that was out there, and that's what I was doing all year. I was getting guys to turn the ball over, 10-second violations, getting 2 to 3 steals back to back, getting assists, and that was a moment. I seen it, the opportunity, and I'm like, I've been letting this guy do whatever he wanted to do, kind of just baiting him into these turnovers I'm about to do, and he was one of the backup guards too. So I knew he wasn't really confident in handling the ball. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to pull the chair the first one. I pulled the chair, got that steal, gave it to Dom. Dom threw it off the backboard to Slack. Energy, and I'm going for it. Now the energy back, I'm like, all right, I got him again. I got him already studied.
Right
away. So I jumped to one side, and I took it, and he hit out of bounds. So I was just like, let's go. That was just my whole thing, my energy. I fed off the energy. So 2 back-to-backs, it was something I was doing all year, because that's something that was in the back of my head. You got to guard 94 feet. You got to be a pest, and that's what our team needed. Like I told you, like, I sacrificed my offense because I thought I shot the ball a lot. I probably averaged like 9 or 10 my junior year. Had a lot of double-figure games, but we wasn't winning. Other guys wasn't getting better on the team, and I sacrificed everything, for my team and for a winning season. And defense was like, that's what, like I said, Coach Jank said I was trash. He told me I was trash, and I ended up becoming the best defensive player in our conference. And I give credit to Brian Mullins too, in that Southern Illinois group. I had nightmares. My junior year, Brian Mullins picking me up 94 feet, exiting him. Like, I never played it. I never had a game like that as far as playing them 2 games against Southern Illinois. They defense my junior year was incredible. And also playing against Florida State. Like, I had them guys on my list that I wanted to become a better offensive guy, a better defender. I wanted to be like Brian Mullins. I wanted to be like Tony Douglas, guard 94 feet, being a leader of my team, and not have to score. So that Utah State game was my moment to get people going. And, again, my teammates always fed off me, so getting them 2 steals back-to-back, I think we just kind of took off from there. And then, again, that's a good program. They had some legit bigs and also a good shooting guard that they was going to make they run. That's just part of sports, part of basketball. Good teams going to always make a run. It's just how many mistakes can we limit our mistakes? Can we limit our mistakes? Can we run our sets to a T? Can we make free throws? Can we box out? You know, things like that was going to get us. And this Utah, we did more than them. You know, we got our sets, we got our plays. Because Curl, he ended up making shots, but I gambled. You know, one of the times, you know, when he got the three, I think we was up like 6 or 7 or something like that, and I'm trying to be the hero and get this dang on steal.
No, we were going to talk about that play.
Yeah, this is my first time guarding him all night because Don was doing a hell of a job on him, and our bigs was showing on the hedges on the screen. So we did a hell of a job. You know, he made his shots, you know, because he's a hell of a player, but it was my turn, you know. It was my turn, and I seen the moment. And I'm telling you, the ball, I got the ball.
I had the ball.
I had it. He just took it from me and took one dribble and shot it. And the first thing I could do, you know how you don't want to look at the coach because you're already mad. So you got to get a.
Okay, let's talk though what happened right after that, because Osiris had the ball and he kicks it out to you, and because you shot 500 shots in the gym, right, in Coffeyville, you nailed a three. So he did make a three, but you returned the favor right afterwards.
So the 2-mistake rule. You know, if I missed that, I know I might.
But you did it.
I know my time might be I already messed up once. You know, and I can't miss this open shot or turn the ball over or get a foul because I know I might hear that buzzer come. That 2-mistake rule. And that's what I love about Jankovic and also Hurt, because it was a 2-mistake rule. You know, you're all right with that first one. You know that was dumb. You know, and then that second one. You know, that second shot. You know, that open shot. Osiris did a great job of penetrating, kicking, and I knew I owed my teammate that because I just gave up a three. You know, I gave up possession. So, you know, like I said, as players and the big-time players that we were, you know, them the things that, you know, you live for. You know, this was my moment. You know, it was Robin's shot. Like I said, I got to knock this down, you know, and that's what it was. Osiris, you know, he kicked it out. I made that shot, but I definitely was thinking about me getting beat, and then if I missed this, like, it's a buzzkill. So I had to make that shot. I did, and like I said, just the energy and going. But anytime you get that ball 2 feet in the paint and you can penetrate, you know, a lot of them threes goes in. You know, instead of kicking it on the perimeter. You know, them threes don't really be in rhythm. You know, getting somebody driving and penetrating, those kickouts feel way better. You know, and also getting them offensive rebounds and being able to kick it on the second and third shot. Them threes usually go in a lot more than just drive, shoot, you know. So it was in rhythm. We got what we needed. You know, Sauer did a hell of a job. But, like, first of all, I wanted that matchup beginning of the game, you know, and coach was like, nah, you going to guard this guy. Myself, Dom, sometimes we used to basically argue in the locker room who's going to get the best guy. Right. You know, I'm like, I got him. Like, so that was like our competitive spirit that we had built up, where we even had Osiris Elder and also Emmanuel Holloway, you know, taking a challenge and guarding them bigger guards every night, and that it was super competitive and fun. So, and then the next night, that night against Dayton, you know, I had a top NBA prospect in the Roberts guy, and I held him to his own, where I was kind of mad at my big guy for not showing on his screens because he made a couple threes on me. I'm like, the goal was him not to score on me, you know, which he didn't until I don't even think he scored, but that was my whole pride. You know, if somebody scored on me, I basically did 100 push-ups when I got home, you know, so that was like my thing. Like, I didn't want nobody to score on me. You know, if they scored, we better be up by like 15, you know, but that game was big. And again, it's rare that people win 24 games, you know, especially the turnaround we had, you know. Like I said, not saying we was tired, not saying nothing. We just didn't make shots, you know. And at the time, like, I wish I would have been you know, I definitely was a great leader, but when you in that moment, you really don't get to see it, you know. And then watching the film again last night after all these years, I'm like, damn, one of us just needed to drive into the foul. You know, we shot too many threes, you know, and they executed they plays and got inside-out touches, and they capitalized, you know. And we was winded, but like I said, I think that was the one moment of my senior year where I was like, all right, this team, you know, this guy's an NBA guy. This team is well coached. The same way when we play Indiana, you know, we battled them guys, but all of a sudden it was just like damn, like, these are the NBA guys. Yeah, right. We more of the overseas guys. You know, after this, we finna go overseas, or this guy's finna be top pick. Eric Gordon is finna be the number 1 pick. You know, so we knew we could play with the best of the best, and we did that for 2 years. But really, our senior year, and I say my senior year and Slack's senior year and Dom's senior year, I think us three, we hung with the best of them because Dom did his thing offensively and defensively. And I wish he would have played, but he ended up getting like strep throat the last 4 or 5 games. We kind of threw him out of rhythm, and he was definitely big for us. He was a starter for 2 years for us. My wing man, he definitely made a lot of shots for me and played hell of defense. So just not having his presence for a couple games and him just being off, I know he wanted to be there, part of it. And
All right, Boo. Thank you for being on. This is where we turn it over to you for closing statements or thoughts or whatever. So, floor is yours.
Man, I just want to thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for putting this on and letting guys like myself and letting former athletes, Redbird athletes, share our stories, on and off the floor. This is definitely turned into a safe haven. I think a lot of us, have things that we want to say or let the outside world besides the locker room know. So thank you guys for putting this on and having me. Want to shout out Bloomington Normal for having me out there for 2 years, man. Definitely, that community was amazing, from all the boosters, the sponsors, the pub, Rest His Soul, just everybody, everybody out there that embraced me for my 2 years there and made me feel like home. I just want to thank you guys. And also my teammates, I know my teammates always shout me out some articles and podcasts and different things when they talk about, basketball. But, I definitely worked hard for a reason. And, having good teammates, my Redbird teammates, also my Coffeyville teammates, seeing them guys push through days that we didn't want to work, definitely helped me, and them guys being in my corner, no matter right and wrong, always kept my fire going, So a lot of people always talk about boo, boo, boo. Man, Slack, Osiris, Bobby Hill, B. Hoax, Jude, Levi, all them guys that was on them rosters my 2 years, Ronnie, everybody, Roberto Fortes, like the guys that was there before me, that was there in the summertime that laid the foundation for the ISU basketball there in that summer when I was there, the Nadu, rest his soul. Just want to thank you guys as well, out loud. I don't think I thank you guys enough for, having my back as a player, so as a person. So thank you guys, love you guys, and again, thank you guys for having me. Redbirds for life, man.
Redbirds for life. All right. Boo, thank you. Man, it was a pleasure. I love watching you guys play. And with that, this is episode 37 with Boo Richardson. John, close it out.
There you go.